Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. What do we got here? Oh, yes. My goodness, some very, very interesting stuff, I must say. Volume 2, or Video 2, of our survey of recordings of Karl Amadeus Hartmann, the most important and finest post-war German symphonist, and really the last, by the way. I mean, there were other people who wrote symphonies, but no one's paying attention to any German symphonies by anyone other than Hartmann, and they're barely paying attention to those. Now, I've already talked about in the first video how he sort of went silent during the Nazi interregnum, and then after the war, he refashioned all of his earlier music, or some of his earlier music, into 8 canonic symphonies, which stood and which stand as his legacy. There was a complete symphony cycle on Vergo, which we talked about in the last video, featuring mostly Raphael Kubelik. It was recorded by Bavarian Radio. Hartmann came from Munich and was active in Munich. But the really great Hartmann cycle is this one. It's on Warner, or EMI. It was boxed up. I have it in a box somewhere. But it's with Ingo Metzmacher, who's a wonderful conductor of contemporary music, and it was beautifully recorded. And these are the original releases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 discs, with Hartmann combined with other contemporary works. Equally well done. It was a fantastic series. It really should be reissued in the way that it was originally released, with all of the other music. Hartmann and friends, call it that, buddies, drinking pals. But it really is a wonderful series, as you'll see as we go through it disc by disc. So these aren't in any particular order. We have Hartmann's Miserere from 1933-34, symphonic poem for orchestra, which is one of those early works that didn't make it into the canonic 8 symphonies. And then the Gesangsen for baritone and orchestra to words from Sodom and Gomorrah, by Jean Giraudoux. That's really gripping. And it's coupled with Dalla Piccola's Canti di Liberazione for mixed choir and large orchestra, which is really fun. I mean, this is like really hot. Wolfgang Schöne is the baritone. And it's with the RAIS Kammerchor and the Dalla Piccola. They're fabulous. And let's see, who's the orchestra? The Bamberg Symphony with Ingo Metzmacher. Really, really cool disc. Haven't gotten to even the symphonies yet. So yeah. But this is an amazing series of contemporary music recordings. I wish they'd stayed in print. Why should they bother? Okay, Symphony 7 and 8 with Metzmacher and the Bamberg Symphony. So that's very easy to do. These symphonies, by the way, they're not long. They're really, really not long. I have all the scores, by the way. They're like, the big ones are about half an hour if you push it. 25 minutes, half an hour, usually in 2 or 3 movements. And Hartmann likes to write big fugal passages with huge percussive build-ups. And I really like the fact that at the climax, he always writes in his score, Hohe Punkt, with an arrow. So like it's really clear where it's building to and where the big moment should come. And Metzmacher pays attention to that. On this one, we've got the 4th Symphony, which is for string orchestra. It's got an opening adagio and then a toccata variata ending with presto, allegro assai. These are usually neo-Baroque, neoclassical in construction, atonal to a degree, but you can follow the argument. I mean, they're very linear, and the ideas are shapely, so you can follow what's going on. And when Hartmann wants to build up a huge screaming climax full of dissonant, scrunchy, crunchy things, he just goes for it. It's perfectly fine. Then we've got Webern's 6 pieces for orchestra, Opus 6, and Berg's 3 pieces for orchestra. And these are marvelous performances of those pieces. Really among the best available. Just fantastic. You may remember Metzmacher did a sensational Berg violin concerto with Zayatmeyer, I believe, was the soloist. Just incredible stuff. So yes, there is that. Then we've got, let's see, Symphony number 4 for string orchestra. Isn't that on here? No, that was Symphony number 6. Pardon me. I don't want to get myself totally confused. No, it wasn't. Okay. Yes, here's Symphony number 4 for string orchestra. We had talked about that previously. And it's coupled with Messiaens et expecto resurrectionem mortuorum for winds and percussion. Yay! Oh, what a fun coupling this is, because one is strings and the other is everything else. So it makes for fabulous contrast and two pieces that somehow, work well together. Both composers were operating from sort of a moral framework. Different, but yes, they had that in common. Then we've got Charles Ives, the Robert Browning Overture. Whoa, yeah. And Hartmann's Symphony number 3, which is marvelous. It has a first movement that has an allegro con fuoco virtuoso fugue. It's called that. Virtuosa fuga, actually. And then a beautiful adagio. It ends with an adagio and a big central climax. That's great stuff. So there's that. Then we've got, let's see. Oh, wow. Symphony number 2, the adagio, and a really gripping performance. And the Sinfonia Concertante, which is number 5. It begins with a toccata and ends with a rondo marked lustig, merry. You see? So it's not all expressionist horror. It's mostly, but not all. And it's coupled with the Bernard Alois Zimmermann's Symphony in 1 movement. Yeah. And Stravinsky's Symphony in 3 movements. What a wonderful coupling. Zimmermann, Hartmann, Stravinsky. I mean, this was like if contemporary music orgasm stuff. I mean, it was just so intelligently planned and well executed and totally ignored and completely deleted. And last but not least, you have his Symphony number 1, Versuch eines Requiems, after Essay for a Requiem, after Walt Whitman, choral work, vocal work, and let's see, Schoenberg's A Survivor from Warsaw, Luigi Nono's Canti di Vita e d'Amore, Songs of Life and Love, and Martinou's Memorial to Lidice. All about, it's the theme, a requiem of death through war and suffering, and it's delicious. Totally wonderful. So these are all of the Bamberg Symphony with Metzmacher. As I said, the symphonies were all issued in a box as just the symphonies without all the couplings. All the couplings were just discarded. Poof. Terrible. Tragic. But, those are great recordings, and I have saved them carefully. Next, let's see. Bamberg Symphony and Karl Anton Rickenbacher. I guess they play this music in their sleep. With Sigmund Nimsger, and we've got the Gesangsszene after Sodom and Gomorrah. Can't have too many of those, can you? The Second Symphony, Adagio, a very slow performance. Usually it lasts around 15 minutes. This is 18 minutes and 30 seconds. A very dark and deliberate performance. I kind of like it a little quicker. And the early Sinfonia Tragica. So before the war, he wasn't exactly a happy camper. And he wrote this thing, and it got reworked, some of the music, into his later symphonies. I don't remember. I think this one became part of the 6th. I may be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But, it's an independent piece all by itself, and definitely worth hearing, even though he did not do anything to revive his earlier pieces. That's on Kochstan. Yeah, I think so. Then there was this Telarc thing with Leon Botstein and the London Phil, his first symphony for alto and orchestra on text by Walt Whitman, and his 6th, and the Miserere symphonic poem. It was always great of Botstein to do these things. The problem is he was not a fabulous conductor. This is well recorded, and it's decent. It's not a patch on Metzmacher's versions of the First Symphony or the 6th, but it brought Hartmann's name to greater attention, and Botstein's programming was always brilliantly original and inquisitive in the best possible way. So this is worth hanging on to, but the performances are not as great as the others. And then there's this one, Hartmann's Piano Works, Sonata, April 27th, 1945, for piano, which is quite the piece. It has two different finales, both of which are here. The Jazz Toccata and Fugue for clarinet, for clavier, for piano. A Sonatina, the small suite, Kleine Suite for clavier, and suite number 2. And here they are with Siegfried Mauser, the excellent pianist. This was one of the very first Virgin recordings ever issued, Virgin Classics, in 1991. And all of Virgin Germany was produced and managed and recorded by my very, very dear friend, Dr. Zerlenmeyer-Eller, who you have met on this channel. He was working for Virgin Germany in those days. And these and other Rickenbacker recordings and other stuff with German artists were all his work. And so, I mean, not only is this an excellent recording, it's first class, but, it's a memento of one of the most important friendships of my life, if not the most important. So there you have it, my friends. Karl Amadeus Hartmann with a dollop of friendly camaraderie at the end. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.